So you think you've decided to sell your house. Well, you pick up the phone, you shoot a text or an email to a sales agent in the area to get the process started. So I'm going to take you step by step what all is involved from the time you make that initial phone call to the time I show up at your door to talk about listing your property here in the Lakewood Ranch area. So if that's of interest, stick around. I'll have all that information coming right up. Hello, this is Mark.
Hi, Mark. This is Vic Gibson. You don't know me, but my wife and I are thinking about listing our home in Lakewood Ranch, and would like to get a market assessment if we could.
Oh, I'd love to come out and talk to you. If you don't mind, how did you get my name?
Well, a good friend of mine from over in the Lake Club had you as an agent, and he had nothing but great things to say about you. Highly recommended, and so I thought I ought to see what you can tell us.
Great, great. Well, I'd love to come out. Hello, it's MarkBoehmig, and in this channel, Selling in Lakewood Ranch, I cover all the details about actually getting a property listed and to the closing table and all the steps that are involved in between. But today's video is about the preliminary steps. What is it once you make that phone call? So the first thing that we do is ask some general questions about you and your property. We don't go into a lot of details at this point. I'm just trying to get an overview of what the property is and what your motivations are. Then, after we end the phone call and set up an appointment, I'm going to pull a copy of the deed. I want to make sure that I know who it is that's selling the property, who all parties are involved. It could be in an estate, it could be under an LLC or a trust. So those kind of things have to be known up front so that when I get to the property, I'll know what it is that I'm dealing with and what parties should be included in the discussion. Now, another thing that we also do is if the parties are not here in town and they're trying to sell a property that they own, but they're not here, we'll set up a Zoom call, screen share, have all the conversations that we would normally have in person. And then I try and find out how I can gain access to the property. If there's a tenant involved, then I would normally call the tenant. And if it's a vacant property, then I would find out how we can access the property to take a look at it. The next thing we do is prepare a pre-listing packet. Now, that pre-listing packet is going to have some information on me, what it is that our company does, how we bring things to the market, and that way you'll get a good understanding so that when I come to your house, we can focus on you and your needs. Listening is a key part of this step, and I want to make sure that I'm listening to what it is that the sellers want to try and accomplish. Before I come to the house, I'll also pull a copy of the tax bill and also to see if there are any permits that have been opened and closed during the time of which you have owned the property. The next thing I'll do is also pull a listing agreement along with all the appropriate documents. Now, one of the things that I like to do is pull the seller's property disclosure and also the frequently asked questions and leave that with the sellers so that they can fill that out at their leisure. Another thing that I do before I show up at the property is I go ahead and pull the sales in the neighborhood so we know what it is that we have for a comparison's sake. I also pull what's currently on the market and what's pending because we like to know what the competition is before we put yours on the market. Another thing that's important is to know how long homes are sitting on the market. Are the homes in the neighborhood selling in 2 to 3 days, or are some of them taking a little bit longer? Most of that has to do with proper pricing, and we will have those discussions as well. And if you'd like to get a copy of my seller recommended tips, I'll put a link in the description below so that you would have access to it. This will go through the different things that you can do when it's time to prepare your house to come to market so you can get the highest value in the shortest amount of time. So I'll put that in the link in the description below. If you just fill that out, you'll get a copy. The whole purpose for our channel, Selling in Lakewood Ranch, is so that we can educate the sellers so that they have a seamless process. We'd like to get the house on the market, sell it for the highest price in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of stress. Mark Boehmig, Michael Saunders and Company.